안녕하세요. 미국 유학 고수TV 시청자 여러분들. 자, 오늘은요, 인공지능 기술이 어디까지 와 있나 여러분들한테 알려드리도록 하겠습니다. 사실 인공지능이라 하면은 예전에는 코딩을 좀 잘하고 뭔가 그렇게 컴퓨터를 뭔가 굉장히 잘해야지만 할 수 있는 진입 장벽이 있었는데, 요새는 인공지능 플랫폼이 있어가지고 어떤 인공지능 플랫폼이 어떤 기능을 하는지 정도만 잘 알면은, 그거를 잘 활용하면은 이제 뭔가를 할 수 있는 세상이에요. 아시겠죠? 자, 일단 제가 지금 이 한글로 이 유튜브를 하고 있잖아요. 근데 솔직히 말씀드리면 제가 영어로도 이런 채널을 하고 있어요. 일단 그렇게 한 이유는, 처음에 저도 일단 뭐 잘 모르고 이제 한국어로 처음에 시작했는데, 원래 이런 개인 방송이나 이런 거는 영어를 하고 뭐 그래야 수익이 좋아요. 그러니까 무슨 말이냐면, 한국어 사용자가 전 세계에 몇 명 안 되잖아요. 그래서 영어 사용자는 전 세계에 어마어마하잖아요. 그래서 사실 여러분들이 책을 쓰든 뭐 이런 개인 방송을 하든 영화를 만들든 드라마를 만들든 아니면 뭐 프로그램을 만들든 앱을 만들든 영어로 해야지 돈을 더 많이 버는 겁니다. 전 세계를 상대로 하니까요. 그리고 지금 와이파이가 전 세계에 깔려 있기 때문에 영어만 할 줄 알면은 전 세계에서 이제 더 많은 수익을 얻을 수가 있어요. 그래서 제가 영어 채널을 파놓고 영어를 사용해서 이렇게 사실 방송을 하고 있어요. 그래서 영어가 제가 되니까 뭐 미국 유학도 제가 영어로 하면 되는 거죠. 뭐 예를 들면 Hello everyone, today I'm going to discuss about how to get an admission from US graduate school. 뭐 이런 식으로 이렇게 영어 콘텐츠를 이렇게 하면 돼요. 되는데 이제 문제는, 이제 제가 이제 예전에 다 이제 그 뭐랄까 시즌 1화부터 제가 이제 미국 유학 가는 법 쭉 얘기했었잖아요. 그렇죠? 근데 그거 똑같이 영어로 하면 되는 거예요. 근데 이게 약간 좀 귀찮아요. 왜냐면 다시 제가 그거를 뭐 영어로 하려면 제가 막 hello everyone 하면서 블라블라블라 막 하면서 얘기를 해야 되잖아요. 그렇게 하면 시간도 되게 많이 들고, 그래서 제가 고민을 하다가 인공지능 번역해 주는 게 있어요. 그러니까 그렇다고 제가 이렇게 번역하는 사람을 고용하면은 시간도 많이 들고 돈도 많이 들고, 그렇다고 제가 직접 예전에 했던 영상을 다시 영어로 만들면 그것도 시간이 많이 드는 거거든요. 그래서 제가 인공지능 번역 툴로 한번 이거를 자동으로 번역하는 거를 해보려고 했어요. 그러니까 목표는 뭐냐면, 제가 예전에 만들었던 영상 있잖아요. 그 영상 그대로 제가 가지고 있잖아요. 그 영상의 MP4 파일, 동영상 파일을 저는 아무 노력도 하지 않고 그냥 인공지능 플랫폼에다가 그냥 업로드 한 다음에 마우스 클릭 한 번 번역 해가지고, 그 다음에 번역 언어는 영어 해가지고, 저는 아무런 노력을 하지 않고 번역을 한 다음에 그 다음에 번역 수수료, 인공지능 그 플랫폼에 번역 수수료를 주는 거를 한번 알아봤었거든요. 그거 한번 보여드릴게요. 그럼 여러분들이 인공지능 기술이 이 정도까지 왔구나라는 거를 아실 수 있을 거예요. 아시겠죠? 제가 지금 제 웹브라우저를 캡처를 해놨는데, 보이시는 것처럼 하이젠닷컴이라고 하는 인공지능 동영상 번역해주는 그런 서비스가 있습니다. 근데 보시면 한 달에 89불 내는 비즈니스 어카운트인데, 사실 저렇게 비싼 돈 내고 할 만큼 이렇게 제가 전문적으로 막 지금 엄청나게 지금 뭐 대량 생산을 하고 있지는 않아요, 영상을. 그래서 저도 이제 시험 해볼 겸 이제 저 홈페이지에서 제공하는 그 어카운트 중에서 가장 싼 걸 가지고 한번 써봤습니다. 자, 하이젠닷컴이라고 하는 회사는 본사가 미국 캘리포니아 LA에 있어요. 근데 어쨌든 저 회사가 가지고 있는 서비스 중에서 현재 제가 알기로 제일 싼 게 한 달에 29달러예요. 29달러. 29달러를 내면 한 달에 15크레딧씩 충전해 주더라고요. 근데 지금 현재까지 그 사용자 그 조건을 보면은 15크레딧이면 1크레딧에 1분이에요. 그래서 15크레딧이면 15분 정도를 번역을 할 수 있는 거예요. 그러니까 지금 15분 번역하고 29달러라고 보시면 됩니다. 그리고 29달러 다 소진되면은 저 계정으로는 저게 이제 끝이고, 다음 달 또 그 돈 내는 날짜가 되면 다시 또 15 크레딧이 쌓인다고 보면 돼요. 그러니까 한 달에 15분 번역이 가능한 거죠. 그러니까 제 입장에서는 제 영상 시즌 1 제1화 정도 딱 한 개 영상 정도 번역할 수 있었거든요. 제가 뭐 하이젠닷컴 사용법을 알려드려야 될 필요는 없을 것 같이 느껴지거든요. 왜냐면 사용법이 굉장히 쉬워요. 홈페이지 가입하고 들어가가지고 본인이 그 영상 업로드한 다음에 그 영상 번역을 클릭한 다음에 그 타겟 언어를 설정하면 돼요. 그래서 타겟 언어를 저는 그 영어로 하고 번역 버튼 누르면 번역이 됩니다. 인공지능이 자동으로 해주는 거예요. 그러니까 저는 아무 노력을 하지 않은 거예요. 자, 그러면 원본 영상을 제가 잠깐 보여드릴게요.
채널의 주요 제가 예상하는 구독자들은요, 미국 유학을 준비하시는 분이시죠, 당연히. 하지만 평범하다고 생각하는 분들에게 좀 용기를 주고 싶어요, 사실은.
자, 이게 바로 이 영상 바로 전에 올린 시즌 1 제624화에 제가 올린 한글 영상 있잖아요. 그거를 그대로 지금 한번 이 AI에게 저는 아무 힘을 들이지 않고 이 $29를 내고 마우스 한번 클릭하고 뭐 업로드하고 뭐 클릭 몇 번 더 했지? 한 두세 번 더 했나? 하여튼 그렇게 하고 번역 해가지고 인공지능이 다 해주는 거예요. 제가 한 게 하나도 없어요. 그 퀄리티를 한번 보여드릴게요. 자, 그리고 바로 이전 영상이랑 한번 비교를 해보시면은 이게 얼마나 이게 번역이 인공지능 기술이 얼마나 와 있는지 여러분이 느낄 거예요. 한번 감상해 보십시오. 제가 그 풀 버전을 이 뒤에 어태치를 해드릴 테니까 그 영어 번역된 거랑 이거 바로 전 영상이랑 한번 비교해 보세요. 그러면 이 번역이 얼마나 잘 됐고 영어 인공지능의 발음이 얼마나 좋은지 아실 수 있을 거예요. 자, 그러면 나갑니다.
Main subscribers of this channel, as I expect, are those who are preparing to study abroad in the United States, of course. However, I also want to give some courage to those who think they are ordinary. Actually, because I am not that intelligent, you know. Nah, I simply think I am pretty average, you know. That's just how I perceive myself, you know. Nevertheless, in this very moment, I find myself here in the United States, possessing a PhD degree and being employed by a substantial company of considerable size. So when I look back on the path I've walked, I just thought I was lucky, because an ordinary person like me ended up in the United States. I believed I was fortunate when I selected this route to pursue my studies overseas at a reputable educational institution and be employed by a large corporation such as this in the United States. In hindsight, it wasn't luck, even if there's a reason. Everything happens for a reason in this world, you know? So that is the reason why I was able to successfully accomplish and finish my study abroad program. If you could share a little, it would be really helpful, especially for those who are preparing to study abroad, to those who think they are ordinary. In fact, when you think about it, you are really smart. I am really good at studying. Individuals who believe that our residence possesses a substantial amount of wealth in reality do not require to monitor my channel. In fact, those individuals have the option to continue with their previous activities. However, the motive behind my initiation of this channel is that I desire to provide assistance. This is due to the fact that I used to be an average person, and because average individuals like myself. Can I go to study abroad in the United States? This was a question that was always in my mind when I was preparing for studying abroad, so that's why I started this. These days, individuals often discuss topics such as I'm from a wealthy family or I'm from a poor family. However, to be honest, dividing people based on their financial situation using these terms is truly unfair and oversimplifies the complexity of individual circumstances and experiences. I believe it is an error, not favorable, correct? However, I do not employ those terms when addressing others. Nevertheless, considering that you all utilize it frequently and it is extensively employed globally, when I observe myself utilizing that phrase, I do not consider myself to be extremely privileged either. However, I certainly was not born into a wealthy family. Based on my observations, I was simply an average, ordinary commoner. The topic at hand is people like this. I had a friend in my youth who acted as an older brother to me. During my early years, my mother left home and my father became addicted to alcohol, rendering him unable to work and causing him to spend all his time drinking. This person had to begin working right after finishing middle school and completing their studies. Studying was a luxury to this person. When I hear dirt spoon, it seems like people talk about people like them. When you say gold spoon, this person is also a brother I met in the US. I met this brother in my late 20s, and he was 1 year older than me. He must have been in his late 20s or around 30. At that age, he was driving a top-of-the-line Mercedes-Benz model and living in a luxury apartment complex in downtown of a major US city, the kind of apartment that is known for being where celebrities live. No, I'm not renting. I'm buying it myself. Of course, it's not my own money. My parents must have bought it for me. They bought me a car, a house, and even the land underneath. I went to their house for a visit and they had a wine cellar. They brought out some wine for me, but it wasn't just any cheap wine. You know, it was one of those famous wines that have been aged for about 20 years. They brought out that kind of wine for me. Those individuals are the gold spoon, and I'm not a black spoon or a gold spoon. I am simply a very ordinary commoner. However, surprisingly, someone like me ended up pursuing education overseas in the United States. Therefore, I would like to share some advice with all of you and hopefully provide you with hope and assistance. When I reflect on my journey, there are 3 primary factors that enabled me to go to the United States. The first reason is: continue along the narrow path, broaden your horizons, and please do not misunderstand my intention here. When I mention the word pervert, I am not suggesting that you should become a pervert. Absolutely not, right? In this context, the term pervert refers to embracing your own unique and unconventional path. That is precisely what I mean. Furthermore, the second point I would like to emphasize is the importance of being a human. Be a human, embrace your humanity, and stay true to yourself. I am not endeavoring to have a moral or religious conversation, but rather discussing matters like human relationships in the context of pursuing education in the United States. Furthermore, it is crucial to have the ability to perform tasks that one may not have a preference for. In any case, I will share my knowledge and expertise from these 3 perspectives. In the inaugural episode of today, I will be discussing exclusively the first reason out of a total of 3 reasons that I will cover throughout the series. Proceed down the narrow road and transform into a peculiar individual. I was endeavoring to communicate this story to you. To get straight to the point, I earned my engineering PhD from one of the top 10 universities in the United States, which is a significant achievement in my academic journey. However, allow me to inform you that my qualifications, if you will, are rather unremarkable. I'm about to recount how I reached my current position. First and foremost, permit me to introduce you to my acquaintance, Elgun. Within my circle of close companions, there exists an individual by the name of Elgun, who possesses an exceptionally distinctive area of study. Curious as to what field of study it is, you inquire. It happens to be toxic substances. I study things like hazardous substances in the human body. So, when this friend does research, they wear protective clothing like a spacesuit that they wear when they go to the moon. They study how those clothes that protect the body have an impact and work well when they come into contact with the hazardous substances that we use in our products. It's a unique field of research. According to this friend, there are less than 100 people in the whole world who have majored in that field that we are living in, this planet. So, if you go to any related academic conference or industry gathering, according to this friend, it's like everyone knows each other. That's the kind of relationship they have. So, this friend has a very unique major, and this friend majored in it in Korea. It is not as if he is a participant in the study abroad trend or anything, but once this friend announced his plan to go to the United States, He was offered a position at one of the top companies there within a period of just 1 or 2 months, or at most 3 months. And it is not as if he simply obtained a job and went. Rather, he was actively recruited by the company, who even covered all of his relocation costs and other expenses. When I first heard this story, it made me sick. I studied abroad in the US and couldn't get into any good companies, you know. The organization I'm presently employed by is a sizable corporation, although it is not the highest ranked company in my industry, which is approximately within the top 10 among large corporations. My friend entered the top leading company in the industry. I was so jealous, but there's a reason for everything. That friend had a unique major and did things others didn't, you know. Same here. Study abroad, dude. From the perspective of grad schools and profs, the process of selecting masters and doctoral students is not about choosing students. Doctoral programs, particularly in engineering, are difficult to perceive solely as students. I'm a researcher. Grad school is a school within a university. It's like a school within a school. So you guys take midterms, finals, submit reports, and graduate, right? You fill up your credits and all that. But it's not like that for the master's and doctoral programs. The classes aren't as many as you think. Most of it is research. You have to do research, write papers, and produce research achievements. That's why you're called researchers. But now the pay for researchers is low. To be precise, that's how it is from the professor's perspective. Seeking talented individuals for research, it's essentially the same. Criteria for selecting company and person are important, but attending grad school, if from prestigious university, excellent grades, and good resume, is advantageous. However, the perspective I'm discussing now is, I would like to discuss how an average individual requires something unique in order to gain admission to a prestigious university. That friend of mine in particular had unique expertise, so they got a good job. Well, let me tell you my story. My major is, I'm a mechanical engineer. I studied mechanical engineering in college. Many around me who studied mechanical engineering end up working for car companies, you know. A great deal. Isn't that right? Well, you see, mechanical engineering is entirely focused on designing tangible objects, such as automobiles, motors, and vessels. It revolves around ensuring their safety. However, as for me, I am actually a relatively insignificant participant in that particular domain. Do you know why? It is because I have dedicated a significant amount of time to studying computer programming. Most people who graduate from the Department of Mechanical Engineering don't really do a lot of computer programming. Of course, in the first year of engineering, you learn basic programming, but it's not as in-depth as computer science. However, in my situation, upon completing my undergraduate program in mechanical engineering, I opted to enroll in only the required number of credits for the mechanical engineering major. Just do the bare minimum, and that's it. You can take electives or something like that for your GPA, you know. But instead of enrolling in liberal arts courses, I opted to take a plethora of computer science classes. Well, you see, it's not easy for friends who have graduated from mechanical engineering to be good at computer programming languages. This is completely the opposite, you know? Because mechanical engineering is the discipline that forms the vertices of something that is physically visible through the eyes of hardware devices, which can be observed and analyzed. Information technology, particularly software, deals with things that are not visible, you know? It is truly different from other things. I, on the other hand, studied things that are visible in a major that emphasizes dealing with things that are visible. I pursued a very unique path. You could say it is a bit narrow, a bit kinky. You know what I mean? My secret to success, you know? If you're wondering who said something similar, hey all, if you've heard Steve Jobs, he used to say, Google it all. I have mentioned something along those lines in the past. It is of utmost importance to establish a connection between 2 points that pose a challenge in terms of their connection with each other. I said something like that, you know, when you see Steve Jobs' life, that friend of mine, from what I know, started college. At first, the department of a university was kind of artsy. You know, there's a font called calligraphy. I attended a specialized college to study fonts. Additionally, I ended up dropping out of the college. After withdrawing, I intend to initiate my personal computer enterprise, you know. Computers producing computers, things like electronic engineering. Art, calligraphy is actually a very distant thing, you know. 2 points that cannot be connected. That's what connects them. That's why they made a very beautiful computer called Apple Computer and succeeded. It's the same. You have to connect 2 points that cannot be connected. The 2 points that I connected were the visible ones, the ones that are important in mechanical engineering, and the ones that are not visible. I misplaced the epitome of software engineering that regards it as significant, so I wasn't truly proficient in either. In fact, in comparison to my peers who solely studied mechanical engineering, I wasn't particularly skilled in mechanical engineering. When it comes to computer engineering, I wasn't as proficient as someone who specialized exclusively in computers. However, my advantage was that I had a basic understanding of both computers and mechanical engineering. This has been a game changer in my life. Few have this kind of spec. Seriously, it's absent. It is exceedingly rare and exceptionally unique background. Consequently, the professors who displayed a genuine interest in me were predominantly those specializing in software design for mechanical engineering, specifically in the realm of designing cars or other machinery, as well as those involved in evaluating the safety of mechanical devices using simulation software tools. Professors who specialize in this kind of thing really coveted it, and when I actually went to graduate school, it was really difficult to find someone like that, because there were a lot of people who were good at mechanical engineering, and there were a lot of people who were good at computer science. But there were really no people who could do a little bit of both and express it as a computer program. It's a very narrow path. This was the secret to my success in life, you know? In my 4th year, what did I mainly do? I roughly checked my grades and realized I had almost fulfilled the mechanical engineering credits. Since it was my 4th year, I focused on taking the necessary mechanical engineering credits for graduation and took all the remaining classes in computer engineering. In my 4th year, both computer engineering and mechanical engineering were in their 4th year. It's hard to keep up with 4th year classes in the computer science department, so I started with lower level classes in computer science and gradually took 4th year classes in mechanical engineering. So after graduating, I became someone with this background. When it comes to majoring in mechanical engineering, I'd say I understand about 80% of it, just an average person. This person, who majored in computer science at the same time, has about 30 to 40% of the ability to keep up with programming skills. I ended up with this type of background, so I became someone who possesses the capability to develop software that is required in the field of mechanical engineering. So, individuals who major in computer science are unable to create programs that are utilized in the field of mechanical engineering. Because, I'm good at programming, but my understanding of mechanical engineering is lacking. And most friends in mech engineering can't code. So having a background like mine was highly sought after. Therefore, there were numerous professors attempting to recruit me in graduate school, in American graduate school. You know what I mean, right? A narrow path like this, it's really important to walk your own path.